So it seems that the first video on the paranormal and ghosts and creepy things and my particular story on how I was living in a haunted house was a big hit, and so was the Fez. So I'd like to continue on with my journey into the strange and weird, and perhaps we can get Louie on later to talk about her experiences with the strange and weird. So if you like these types of things, these stories in a spoken format that you can listen to, load up on your phone, listen in the car, then please like and subscribe. So, as mentioned, the first video was about when I lived in a haunted house with another DJ mate. So continuing on, I'd moved out of the house, and I was living in Point Frederick, which is on the Central Coast in Gosford. And when you're a DJ, you tend to go to bed when you're not working along similar hours that you would have with your DJ shift. So you might DJ 2 to 3 nights a week, and the other nights of the week you try to have an early night, and that would mean getting to bed at about 4 because you're just not tired, and it screws your metabolism up and all the rest of it. But one of the things we used to do is go and purchase music, because it's tax deductible. It's part of your job, and part of that money that was allocated for doing that, you would also purchase some movies and DVDs, because you would play things at the back of the DJ booth on a big screen in a nightclub. And I think it was in the hi-fi store, I don't want to mention names or anything, but I came across an older British TV series about ghost hunting, and it was this show called Most Haunted. So we bought a box DVD for $30 or something, and it was quite an interesting show. And maybe at the end of a season you might see a ghost, but they had a psychic on, Derek, who would go around and talk about all the things in the house or the place that was haunted that they explored in Britain. But a lot of times they were referring to spirits manifesting as orbs. So not necessarily seeing a full apparition ghost, but these little balls of light, these orbs. If you practice meditation, and I have been able to see them with the naked eye, but back then, when I first heard of orbs, it's revealed in the show that you need a good digital camera, and if you call the spirits, they'll show up. So watching these shows can help you to manifest spirits, I guess. I guess when you're looking for the strange, sometimes the strange finds you. So this is the graveyard at the end of Point Frederick, and there's some misty stuff going on here. I don't know, maybe I'm reading into it too much. Here's a photo of Louie, but you'll notice just on her jacket is this ball of energy sort of stuff. That one over there is, well, it could be dust, I don't know, but there's some really good ones in this batch of images. So there's one next to a person's head. I want to keep that person off the internet. There's a pic of me without the beard in my Captain Sensible jacket and no fez. I particularly remember this one because in 2 frames it was gone, but you see how it seems to have its own light source. Next to this tree with this weird mushroom on it, and in the next frame it disappears completely. So every good DJ takes a digital camera with them to take photos of the crowd, This was a particular nightclub in the city. These orbs are just dust. This was before the shift, starting at 11 p.m. and it went till the sun come up. That's the cellar. Like the security guys would tell me, oh, we saw a ghost in the cellar. You get talking to the security guys, you know, they hang around after the shift and it often mention the strange and weird, and that's the club cranking. So the other thing that kind of happened when I started the Paranormal TV Facebook page, you get people message you about the fact that their place was haunted and they needed help. Well, they'd send you some strange pictures, and reading lots about the occult and actually doing some stuff in those old books that I'll get into a little bit later, there's spirits everywhere. You've got nature spirits, there's air spirits and fire spirits and earth spirits and water spirits. And I remember having a story from a tattooist mate who did the tattoo on my leg, and he said, oh, you know, ghosts are real. I had a ghost in my house. It was the ghost of a little girl. I said, so what I understand is when you die, your auric field is left, and from your internal life force hangs around for a little while in that after death body, and then it too goes to another place and reincarnates. And there's videos all over the internet about reincarnation, and I'd love to get into that in another video. But what these elemental spirits like to do for kicks is they find this astral imprint of a dead person, and it's just a shell. So, you know, the gang gets together on Saturday night and they lay out the Ouija board and call Aunt Mary, who's been dead for 40 years or whatever, and Aunt Mary starts coming through, but it's probably not Aunt Mary. It's probably one of these nature spirits doing this for kicks, because let's face it, they can't really have sex or anything, so they like to find these shells, auric imprints, and get into it like driving a car kind of thing. And when they're in that auric field, they then know everything about that person. So you can ask the spirit questions, and they're telling you stuff that Aunt Mary would know and all the rest, but it's probably not Aunt Mary. So back to my tattooist buddy. He was saying that he was upset because the ghost had destroyed his Metallica poster. He said that people in the house had seen a little girl running around in the house, and one day he'd come home and a towel was soaked with water, had been dragged from the bathroom, the taps left on, up the walls really, really high, where no one could possibly get up without a ladder, and then down again, and then all the way into his bedroom and across his wonderful Metallica poster, ruining the Metallica poster. And I said, well, that was probably a water elemental inhabiting the shell of the dead little girl. So another buddy on the internet through Facebook had sent me this particular image, which is a fire elemental, and it's a pretty cool picture because apparently some magic words were said over a fire, and that's what showed up. So the story that goes with this next photo, and I've got heaps of them, is Louie was DJing with me as well, and later on in her DJ career, and I think it was about 13 years into it, she started to get really sick of some of the venues that her agents would put us in. Some places were a bit rough. Look, it's great if you're a good DJ and you have a good venue where you're sort of up on stage or in a DJ booth, But you know, some of the ones in Western Sydney can be a little rough. And she said, I just want to not be around people. So she wanted to get a job in the funeral industry. So she got a job with a few funeral places. One of the funeral places, she got a photo with the boss. Kind of knew about spirits. You know, anyone in the funeral industry will probably tell you that ghosts are real. And here's a quick photo that was captured on CCTV when the boss played it back in the morning. So you can see that's a full apparition, which is really cool. So the ghost tours. People started to gift us ghost tours and things. I don't know, I guess maybe you project the energy that you're interested in this kind of stuff. So one of the ghost tours we went on was in North Sydney, and what happened there was we were given flashlights and we were walking around looking at graves and stuff, and the tour guide was moving forward pretty quickly, but what he did say that stood out, he said, there's a lot of activity at this particular grave, and some people have had a good photo there. So it's pitch black, we've got the torches on, and I've got the Canon digital and I'm snapping away, and I'm not checking the pictures, I'm just taking photos. So I just pointed at the grave, took a photo, and this is what showed up. So in addition to the North Sydney ghost tour, one of the first ones I went on was the Rocks, which is a very old part of Sydney City near Circular Quay. If you're Aussie, you'll know it. If you're not, that's where it is. And this one was a bit of a rude photo, because the tour guide, he's wearing the stockman coat and the hat. He says, let's just turn the lights out and set the mood. And he's started to tell this spooky story in the dark. And he's talking about this particular entity in the room. And I've just pushed the shutter on the camera. Or I think it was actually Louis, because the side of me is in this photo. So you have a look at this. It's quite bizarre, this thing. He did have a torch in his hand, but he wasn't waving it around, so I don't know what that is. Maybe wishful thinking. I don't know. I'm the mystic skeptic, I guess. So just another couple of photos from the tour. There's apparently a ghosty thing shows up everywhere I've taken a photo. It's like, oh yeah, there's a ghost in the window. I don't know if we see a ghost in the window. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually put a cardboard cutout up there. I don't know, I'm only kidding. However, in this laneway we did get a couple of orbs, and it wasn't raining, no one was walking down there, it was just in this laneway, story about a ghost, take a photo. So I believe this one's Observatory Hill. Again, there's a ghost shows up here. It was a while ago. It was 2011. So, but here you've got some rain specks. Yeah, 2011. So I don't remember the full story with those ones. So that's about it, guys, for that bunch of ghost stories. I've got some UFO stuff. We had a UFO experience a few years back, which is a great one to talk about, and I've got some great photos. People have asked me about the crazy tattoo. That's Latin, so I'd love to know if you know what that says in the comments on YouTube, and I'll pin your name to the top if you get it right. On top of that is Sakyant, which is a Thai magic spell tattoo. and that's going to make another great video. So if you like me doing these videos in story format that you can listen along and see some cool stuff, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video to Facebook, recommend your friends. I'd love to have 1,000 subscribers. That would just make my day. So till next time, see you later.